Alright, today I'm going to be working on the shed a little bit. I'm going to be by myself today, so it'll probably go a little slower. I'm going to build a kind of a half loft in the back end of this thing, just for storage, to put just whatever, just to have somewhere to get it up off the ground. And to do that, I've got to get a beam built to go between the middle poles all the way across. And then after that, I'll start trying to get the floor joists and stuff in it, and then I don't know how far I'll get, but if I get all that done, then maybe I'll get started putting a little plywood on it. So that's what we got to do today, so I'm going to get started. So this morning I was able to get the beam built and set, and along the back side of the beam I've got a ledger board run all the way across it, and I've got it laid out for floor joists. Same with the back beam, and that's where the overhead storage is going to be. I'm going to build a little floor up there and some kind of a, I don't know, some kind of a ladder, drop down ladder, or some way of accessing it. Most of the stuff that's going to be up there will be, you know, stuff we don't use a great deal. I mean, if nothing else, I can just lean a ladder up there on it and climb up in there and get to it. But anyway, I've got it ready to put the floor joists on, and I'm fixing to go eat lunch. And I'll come back out after lunch and put the floor joists in. Well, I just got through eating lunch and playing a little bit with Ira. It's starting to get hot. As the evening goes on a little bit, the sun goes a little further that way, and it'll be in here. I'll have full sun here shortly, and it will be hot. But I'm going to try to get a few floor joists, and maybe if it goes good, I'm going to try to get them all on. There ain't that many of them. I've just got a little bit of crookedness going on because lumber's had the sun shining on a little bit, and it'll twist it. But I think I can get it mostly straightened back out and get it where I can use it. So we'll see if I can get some of these things on. Got like a Scottish accent. You never see him. He's just real calm and factual and shows pictures and everything. But anyway, he was talking about this plane that crashed on this island, and it had about 60 people on it, and everything appeared to be going just perfectly, you know, and it crashed right before it was going to land, and so all the you know, fire crew and everybody went to running out there, and everybody had assumed it had run out of fuel because of the way it went down, just kind of right at the end, and it killed everybody on there but one guy. And he said, he wasn't a crew member, he was just a passenger. He said what happened was that somebody had got on that plane in their carry-on with a little alligator about this big, and when they were coming up to going to land, they took their bag down, and that thing got loose, and it started running through the plane, and all the people ran to one end of the plane to get away from the alligator. No kidding. And the pilot couldn't control the plane, and it crashed, and the alligator survived. All right, today I'm going to be back working on the shed. It's been a few days with the rain and the garden planting and all that, but now I've got a little bit of a break to work on this, and got some good weather too. It's cool. It's not supposed to get out of the 60s today, and it's about 42, 44 this morning, so that's good weather. So I'm gonna be working this morning on trying to get this little section right back here, the little loft area. I'm gonna get some plywood on it, and once I get that done, it'll be time to set the ridge pole and start putting rafters on, so it'll start looking more like a shed than just an overhead floor. So I'll get started on that and see how much we can get done.
Well, Matt got the floor on the little part we're going to use for storage.
The executive loft.
Executive loft. You going to put you a chair up there and get in it?
I may wall that thing in and move in it.
Need some heat in it today.
I'll put a wood stove in it.
We're having blackberry winter. It's downright chilly. I hadn't hardly helped Matt because I've been too chilly out here.
Thanks.
I know. So what's next? What you got to do next?
I'll do some measuring and figure out get the center of the building and figure out where the center is to set the ridge pole. And I got to build the ridge pole, but I've also got to get some scabbing, as we call it, some supports up there to hold it in place once I get it built, and that'll be the next step. And once that it's set in place, then it'd be time to put the rafters on.
And you'll be getting close to being done, won't you?
Well, then I got to strip the roof, and then got to put the roof on, and then got to get down here and decide what I'm going to do on the sides, about covering the sides of it with something. I haven't really figured all that out yet. Most people have a finished plan before they start, and I don't always do that.
Yeah, well, it's looking good so far.
But it'll work out in the end.
I think Matt was using the fast speed, so you couldn't have seen it, but I thought it was really neat how he got the plywood up there. To begin with, who knew you'd build a shed using the tractor?
Yeah.
But then to pull the sheet up onto the platform, he made a little handle and screwed it to it. It was pretty smart.
I had to do each one of them that way because that's 3/4 inch Advantech, and it's heavy. Used to, I believe I could have got it and pulled it up there, but now ain't no sense in hurting yourself. So each sheet I just screwed a little handle that I'd built to it to get it pulled up onto the top of the building, and then just unscrewed the handle off of it, and then went ahead and put it where it goes.
Pretty smart. You're pretty smart sometimes, right?
Once in a while.
So now you got figuring, huh?
Got a cipher now. That's what's going to hold the ridge beam when I get it built. See them little cross pieces?
Yeah.
It's going to sit on top of that. It'll be a 2x8 double.
Yeah.
And it's going to set in there, and that's going to hold it until I can get the rafters on it. And then once the rafters are on and hook it down here and up there to it, then it'll stay.
Okay. And then you take all that down eventually?
Yeah, that'll come down. I don't like it, but that thing ain't no taller than that. But
huh?
So I wish it was taller than that inside being able to get in there on that floor, but if I go any higher than that, I ain't going to be able to stay on the roof putting the tin on. That's already a 6 and 12. This is 5, so it's steeper than the house.
Yeah, I was thinking it would not even be that high above it. I thought it was just going to be like barely a crawl space, so that's better than what I thought. And you're just going to mostly slide stuff up there. You ain't going to get up there and, well, you said you wanted an executive chair up there. You have to have you an executive cot and lay down. How's that?
What a fellow better have is about a dang case of Wasper spray and some Benadryl. Because
Yeah.
that's what that's going to be.
Yeah, probably will.
Anyway. I petered out.
Well, you've been working all day. You got a right to peter out.
I reckon. I have to build that same thing out here where there ain't nothing to stand on. And I'm kind of dreading that. That's why.
Save that for when you're fresher.
Yeah, I'm too tired to try to do that now. I'm thinking I can use that walk board a little bit. Maybe it's going to be stretched out, but we'll see.
Well, Matt got a lot done today, getting the floor done up there, and then getting the scaffolding, is that what you call it, built to put the beam up, which is the next.
Bracing.
Bracing for the beam. Did I get that part right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it'll be warmer. You probably don't want it to be warmer.
It's about right.
About right
It's
for
good,
working.
Good working with it.
So we'll continue tomorrow.
Yep.
Get back at it in the morning.
Tune in tomorrow when Matt says, "Gosh, I wish this was done."
Is that what you said this morning?
That's what I say every day till it's done.
Well, you're getting there, little
Yep.
by little.
Yep.
Another chilly morning. Blackberry winter continues. How much is it going to be? How much longer?
I don't know.
I think
ain't
it's
looked.
supposed to warm up by the weekend, maybe. So what's on the agenda for you today?
More shed work.
What you going to work on first?
I'll try to finish up getting these supports for the ridge pole. I've just got one more left. Once I get it up, then I can start building the ridge beam and get that situated, and then start putting on rafters.
You need your little fire down here.
Well, it ain't that cold.
It's pretty cold, I think. Of course, we're in the shadows right here where we're standing. The sun will begin to reach in here.
It won't be long, then it'll be hot.
I don't think hot, but
Yeah, it'll be hot to me.
you'll be working.
Yeah.
So Matt's going to get started on that, and I've got a few things I need to go do, and then maybe I can come try to help him. I'm not much help, though, at what he's doing right now. I can be his cheerleader, though.
Yeah, rah rah ree.
Binky. He can jump far.
Did you see that? Wow. Wow.
See if we can get him to do it again. Come here, Binks.
Wow. Did you see that? Did he jump? So will the rafters come from the top of that beam down to the side? Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Matt convinced me to come up on top. I don't know if I'll ever get down.
Oh yeah, you can get down.
So you want to give us a little tour while we're up here? To show us what you've done. People, I mean, you've been seeing it at a distance, but now you can see it up close.
Well,
So this, of course, is the floor.
this will be the little loft area, and once it's done, all this will be removed and gone. It'll just be a place to store stuff that we don't use a whole lot, just somewhere to put it. And all this stuff here is just the bracing to hold up the beam until we can get the rafters and stuff on it, and then they'll hold it up.
So the beams will, I mean, the roof will be this tall, like this will be the top of the roof, or
Right.
this will be the top of the roof?
The rafters will run into the beam here and down to the outside beam of the building down there.
So you won't be able to stand up in the storage, but we wasn't even thinking of doing storage until Matt suggested it, so I'm glad that you did.
I mean, I could make it taller to where we could, but the roof would be so steep that
Yeah,
I don't know if I can stay on it to get it roofed, so
right.
I just kept it down here where we can, we can get in here if we need to, but it's not so steep that I can't get it roofed.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be, like you said, storage that we'd be getting in and out and in and out and in and out.
I don't care nothing about real steep roofs no more. And this one will be steep enough. It's like a 6 and 12, which not real steep, but it's about as steep as I want to get on anymore.
Well,
The 10-12s and the 12-12s. We even done a 14-12 one time back when I was young, and I couldn't stay on it then to speak of. We had to make ledger boards and everything just to hook your toenails in to stay on it, and I ain't doing that no more.
yeah.
But this will be good enough. It'd be, I mean, we wasn't even going to do this, but we've got this much extra space that we didn't think we was going to have.
Right, yeah.
So
You could lay weed eaters up here and stuff like
weed
that in
eaters
the
and
off
gas
season,
and,
yeah.
just all kinds of whatever,
Yeah.
fishing poles.
Yeah,
It'll make a little room in the basement to get stuff that we rarely ever use out of there and put in here and get it back here in the back. And something we don't get but every once in a while, we'd get it out of the basement. And of course the tractor and the four-wheeler and everything else will be underneath.
so it's like we're in a tree house when you start looking at the trees.
Actually, I had to cut a limb or two right there to get that framing in there, just with my knife.
Yeah. Binks is watching, overseeing.
He's looking for something to kill is what he's doing.
He's looking awful sleepy.
Everything, but I may leave this and tie this to this.
Yeah,
It'll help, since this is such a long span that we're standing on. It'll just tie it to the roof system, and that'll just give it a little bit more support. I may leave it. And I'll take all this stuff off probably and everything, but I may leave these uprights right here and just attach them, just leave that as part of the building. If I had a post underneath her, I wouldn't need to do that, but that's an 18-foot span. It's pretty long.
the next step is building the rafters.
Yep. I've got to finish laying it out. I've got it almost laid out, and I've got to do those parts of the beam that I couldn't reach from up here. I'll have to do them off a ladder. And then I'll start cutting rafters and putting them on.
Putting the floor over here for storage means this is the easy part over here because you can stand up on it.
Yeah, over there, doing the rafters over there, it won't be that bad with that walkboard. I'll just have to attach them all up here first and then get down and then get on a ladder to do each one of them down on the side beams of the building.
From this vantage point, you can see what Matt got done today. You can see that big beam and the rafters on each end that he started putting up. So it's really, really coming together now. Well, good day of work.
Yeah.
You feel like you accomplished a lot?
Yeah.
How you feeling about the whole thing? Feeling better as it goes along?
Yeah, I'm glad to get it to that point. I mean, once you get it framed up, a whole lot of the figuring and the strife and the worry over trying to figure it correctly kind of goes away, and it's just work from there on, like the putting the metal on, stripping it, and then putting the metal on it. I mean, that's crappy work, but it's pretty straightforward. Just make sure you keep it square, get your tins, your metal squared up when you start, and keep a check on it as you go, and then it's just work.
Are you pleased so far? Is there anything you wish you'd done different?
I wished I'd have took a little more pains and kept it it's a little bit out of square, but not horrible. And I wished I'd have did that, but
It's looking good.
it'll be all right.
And I sure can't tell it's out of square. I wouldn't know.
You won't never know it once it's done.
What?
It ain't nothing but covering up a tractor and a wheel bar.
I
It don't
know.
have to be square.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't like to get stuff out of square.
Yeah.
I'm rusty.
Well, you ain't done this in a long time.
No.
It's looking good, though. I was scared being up on top there, though. I wish you hadn't. Now
you
it's
should go-
over, so I survived.
You
But
should go out that thing.
yeah, I can't do that. Walking on the walkboard, I don't even want to watch Matt doing that. I sure couldn't do it. I'd be like, have to lay down and crawl on my belly.
It ain't that bad. I mean, because that's not that high.
I just have a feeling I'll pitch off. Like, even though I'm standing still, like I'll just somehow pitch off and fall. I don't know. I guess that's the fear of the height.
I used to have dreams, and I think every now and again I'll have them again about being up just really, really high and just being so terrorized by it that you know you're going to fall. And for whatever reason in my dreams, I just jump to go ahead just to get it over with because I know it's coming and I'm tired of waiting on it.
Fear makes you mad, so you jump.
I reckon.
Yeah.
I've done, I don't know how many times I've dreamed that in my life, quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do you wake up when you
wake,
jump?
just jump and wake up,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Wake up and your heart pounding.
Yeah. I do that to Matt all the time. I don't necessarily remember what I'm dreaming, but I jerk. Like
Among other things.
like I've fallen, or I feel like I'm falling, or run into something, or I don't know, had some kind of dream. Yeah. Well, this is going to be real nice. It's funny to think that Woodrow and Ira will never remember it not being here.
Yeah.
And eventually, the way time goes, it'll be hard for us to remember what it was like, before it was here. Sometimes when I'm coming home or just thinking about it, when I'm coming in and out of Wilson Holler, I try to, think about how it was when I was a girl, things that are no longer there. Mama and Papa's house, that's kind of easy to imagine it being there. But other little pieces of the landscape that are no longer there, and try to remember, when it was like that. And you get so accustomed to seeing the new way of things, even though the new way may be 25 years old. You get used to that. You still think of it as the new way, though.
I still have dreams about being in the house I grew up in.
Mm.
And I've not been in that house in, I don't know, almost 40 years.
Yeah.
And in the dream, it's just like it was, and you know where everything is and going about just like you did back then. It's just crazy.
I dream often. I'm dreaming. It might be about me and Matt and Katie and Corey or whoever, but it's that we're in Granny's house. It's like Matt said, it's the house I grew up in. It's there. And ever so often I dream about Martins Creek School. I'm sure I dreamed about Murphy High School when I was in school, but if I dream about school, and I do sometimes, but I dream I'm at that school, the old Martins Creek School, which is not even there anymore. It's funny how those early places, memories in your mind, how they make such an impact. And then, looks like if I was going to dream about something, I'd dream about this house, not Granny's house. Since I've been here, but it's funny those formative years, I guess, or why Matt would dream about his old house when he hadn't been there in ever how long. Yeah, it's funny how
So we
your
was
mind...
shed building. How we talking about dreams?
I don't know. We got off on dreams. Yeah.
I think that was my doing.
Well, that's all right. It is interesting to think about how our minds work.
Yeah.
I think of them as filing cabinets. I've got filing cabinets in my brain. Is that what you think?
No.
Well, I guess you're ready to rest for a while.
I'm pretty tired.
What's the next on the agenda? To keep adding the rafters.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get to work on it tomorrow, but when I do get back, it'll just be cutting rafters and putting them on. And then, next thing will be stripping the rafters and getting ready for the metal. I'll have to trim off the rafter tails and plumb them and put fascia boards on them and put barge rafters on it on both ends. And then it'll be time for 10.
Yeah, and then think about what you're going to put on the outside walls.
Yeah, I need to go ahead and get that figured up and just get them go ahead and bring it so it'll be here.
Yeah.
I need to do some ciphering.
Yeah.
Decide what I want to put on it.
It's coming along. We're actually doing it, not just talking about it.
Talked about it for years. I've wanted a shed for 30 years.
And we're just actually doing it now.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
Once we get it done, then I'm going to get Daddy out here and see about getting power in here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could do it, but he knows more about it than I do.
Yeah.
He'd know a more efficient, better way of doing it, get me the most power I can get out here as far as having to be able to run different stuff. Get some more lights and receptacles and maybe even probably end up putting a sub panel out here, feed it from the house, and then wire this thing off that sub panel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we'll probably do, and I want to be able to get as much as I can get.
Yeah. It's funny how when Mac put the floor on it at that stage, it's like it looked so much more substantial, which makes sense because it's a floor. But then today, putting those front rafters just makes it seem so much more like real, substantial, but like it's really happening, even though it was already really happening from the very first post we put up. But it's funny how your mind again works, seeing stuff, how you perceive it one way, just because it looks more like a gabled end. It's like we're really doing something now.
The funny thing is I'm going to have to, those last two I put up on the front, I'm going to have to go right in front of them and put another one up again just right beside them, maybe up against them, so that when I put the framing in for the gable end, whatever wood I put on that, it'll have
something to
go to. Where those landed is just where the layout landed, and they're a couple, 2 or 3 inches off from where the end one actually needs to be.
Oh.
So anyway, what I may do is just put some blocking on the side of that one and just add another one right against it.
Yeah.
I used to run into that before back in the day.
Excuse me. I knew that was coming. Matt's talked about from the very beginning, once it's completely done, first got to get it all done, but it's talking about putting a little lean-to maybe on each side, shed off of it, and then today or yesterday when you were working, you was talking about doing something in the front like that you might do.
Yeah,
You'll have to think more about it.
Yeah, I have to see how much room I got. I ain't got a lot of room, but it'd be kind of cool to have just a little like a little flat, almost flat, or with a little bit of pitch, a little shed roof off the front. Kind of like a little covered porch area, since this thing's going to be open.
Might give it some protection, and then to give you a place to get out of the rain.
Well, yeah, if you got this thing, you know, with tractors and all the junk in it, and it's nearly full, and you can't get in here and do anything, you could get under that little roof.
Mm-hmm. Makes
I'm
sense.
also going to put something out here that I've not told you about yet.
Oh, a secret, huh? What about it?
It's not really a secret. You should be able to guess it. But I'm going to have I ain't figured out exactly how or where, but somewhere in here or under that shed, one's going to be a permanent skinning station to skin deer with.
That you don't have to put up and take down and put up and take down.
Yeah.
Matt uses now one that goes in the, sorry,
Some of you peeps.
no, somebody I don't even know, a number I don't recognize, a spammer, I'm sure, spammer. Matt uses one that, you still use the one that goes in the back of the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I built that thing,
Yeah.
I don't know, 20 years ago probably, just one that slides in the race hitch of the truck. It's got a boat winch on it and some pulleys, and it works great.
Mm-hmm.
But
You just got to put it, of course you can't drive around with that on, so you take it off and then you got to put it on during deer season and take it off and put it back on.
well, every time you skin something, you got to put it in, and then when you get done, take it off, and I just throw it on the bank after it's been there for years.
Yeah.
But
You could put a permanent something.
yeah, I'll put something in here, rig up something that will always be here,
That'd be nice. Yeah.
and be out here out away from the house, and it ain't gonna matter if a little blood gets on the ground.
Yeah. Well, we hope that you really enjoyed seeing the last several days of Matt working, and it's not been all in a row. There's been some spaces you could probably maybe notice by the, if you can see the trees around us, I'm sure that you notice that they're more leafed out today, but so there's been some spaces in between them, but he's been pecking away at it all along.
Mm-hmm.
Pecking away, and I guess you'll keep pecking away, and before we know it, it'll be done.
In between the baby wrangling and the garden planting and
Yeah.
everything else.
The garden planting took some time out, and baby wrangling always does. That's what you'll be doing tomorrow, is baby wrangling. Why you can't work.
Yeah, I'm designated babysitter tomorrow,
Yeah.
and I'm slightly scared.
It's Woodrow though, so he's the easy one.
Yeah,
He's
that's why I'm
easier
scared.
than our-
I'm gonna have to put on a full body rain suit with him,
Oh well, yeah.
because he loves to spit
Spit
up.
up, yeah, he does do that, but he's much calmer than our, easier to entertain.
Yeah,
But they're so sweet, both of them.
yeah, they are.
And what a joy, what a blessing that we get to have them close and that we get to spend time with them. It's such a blessing. God is so good to us.
Mm-hmm.
We're always glad when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia.